Okay, hello, everyone. Your microphone is unmuted. Your video is stopped. Why is my video stopped? I need my video to work. There we go. And I also need to be able to see. I also need to see my document, please. Please. There we go. Written devotional. Where did it go? I need the Lenten devotional. I guess I also need some glasses so I can see. Let there be light and some glasses. Light and some glasses. Here are the glasses. And there's the light. Surely I will worship you. Surely I will worship you. Surely I will worship. Good morning, New Covenant Fellowship of Austin. And I don't know why I keep losing.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I can fix that. I can fix that. Can you hear me now? You should be able to hear me now. It says my mic is unmuted. You still cannot hear me? Oh, that's not good. Okay, now can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
You cannot hear me.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Okay.
I can see you. I know you're talking.
You can see me, and that.
Huh?
Mute myself, and you should be able to hear me. I don't know what's going on.
I can hear you. No.
Okay. Try turning up the volume on your machine.
I can't hear a thing you're saying, so I don't know what you just said.
Okay, so.
It's up to the highest it can go.
Up to the highest it can go.
Now I can hear you.
Now you can hear me?
Yes.
That's so bizarre. I didn't do anything other than send you a chat.
But then right before
that may have been what did it.
Maybe. Because right before this, I was listening to something else. Weird. But it's good to see you. What did you say?
Well, it's good to see you too. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a little bit selfish by saying you're choosing, but it's always so much better to be able to talk to somebody when I'm doing it, as opposed to just to a screen. Having some interaction, some real engagement. It makes all the difference in the world. How are you?
I'm tired. We got all kinds of stuff going on at school to take care of. And teaching online takes 3 times as much time because I have to send messages. And then when we lost a week of class because of the ice storm, it messed up all of the online assignments. So I have to go in and change things. I hate it. Oh, well, such is life. I would say more, but I would say
join the club. I do. Well, I might be rotating back into two mental health groups. No, 3 if you call it the PTSD group. The PTSD guys are mostly Vietnam vets. They come in person. They don't care.
Wow.
They come in person, and I don't have to always facilitate that group. But when I do the other 2 mental health groups, they're supposed to be hybrid, but no one comes in person. They would rather just sit on their phone. They would rather sit on their phones or their computers and not have to leave wherever they are, because many of these folks are outpatient, so they're not in the facility. So, and then they're the fun one. The fun thing I get to do is a lunch and learn, and we do one every weekday. Mine is on Fridays, and it's creative spirituality.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I do crafts, we play music. I have guests, almost like a little talk show thing. And it's just not even an hour. There's an hour allowed for it, but if I spend 20 minutes, that's okay. If I spend 45 minutes, that's okay. there's been times when I'll do something about something, some interfaith holiday. For example, we just started Ramadan. So
Uh-huh.
on Friday, I gave them an intro to Ramadan, but on next Friday, I'll be joined by two of the physicians who are Muslim,
Oh,
both
wow.
women. And they're going to talk about
Interesting.
the significance of Ramadan and how it's one of the pillars and what it does for them. Because, you talk to even folks and
Yeah.
those of us who claim to be Christian, and we'll talk about fasting, and all we can talk about is how hungry we are.
Uh-huh.
There could, should, would be, might more to it. So that's another piece of what we're going to discuss. Like, what a month of fasting? What's up? What's
Oh,
up with that?
wow. Yeah.
So you do get a break. You do get to eat after sundown. You get this little snack thing. What do you have for snack? What's your favorite epoch?
Wow. That'd be
So I'm really
interesting.
looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah. So that's why I don't know if you heard, if you were there toward the end of the meeting, I was
I wasn't.
bemoaning the fact that we weren't going to do a Passion Week or a Good Monday, Thursday, or a Good Friday
Oh,
service.
I
That's,
heard that part. Yeah.
yeah, where that was kind of going. Like, well, do you want to do something online? And I'm like, not on Friday.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a Good Friday service where I can go worship.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Because yeah, I will have spent almost 3 hours online at that point.
Wow.
Um,
Crazy. And I know we're being recorded right now, so I won't say other things I'm thinking about. But
yes, we're gonna keep it clean. We're gonna keep it clean. Today, do you have your lesson guide for
no,
the
well, the
Lenten
one,
study?
because the one that I got the very first time that you and I talked was for 1 week. And then I thought that
Oh,
didn't
you didn't get
exist
the
anymore.
whole thing. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
So I don't
Right,
have anything.
because I thought at that point that I could only send out a week at a time.
Okay, but that's the only one I've gotten.
Because it wouldn't send the whole
Huh.
it wouldn't send the whole PDF because it
Yeah.
was so large. But then I did manage to send it, and that's all right. You know how these roll, so you know what you understand the format of how it's set up,
I
and
do.
you get a week at a time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's a week at a time, and this week we are going to talk about essentially checking ourselves.
Huh.
Week 5, can you imagine? It seems like Ash Wednesday just happened. I was saying that last week. Shalonda Cross joined me last week. And I was saying for week 4, it's like, how can it be week 4 in Lent already?
Wow.
Time flies.
Yeah,
Time
it sure
flies.
does.
But we're in week 5, which means we're rolling toward that last week of
Wow.
Lent. And this week, we're going to examine, let me make this large enough so I can see it. We're going to examine our burdens to live with blessing.
Oh, wow.
Examine our burdens to live with blessings. And today's title is Burdened by Cynicism. The scripture reading comes from Ephesians 4:29. Let no evil talk come out of your mouths, but only what is useful for building up, as there is need, so that your words may give grace to those who hear. Ephesians 4:29.
Hmm.
Now, you of all folks would certainly have a greater understanding of another element of the craziness of my life. We move through our units in quarters in 12-week sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And just finished one, and they conclude with having to do an oral presentation of your self-evaluation
Oh, wow.
for what you have accomplished over the last 12 weeks. And that presentation includes vignettes from your clinical experience, as well as what you've learned from the didactic. Have you done any extra reading or outside participation in workshops or podcasts or however else you can learn about what we're supposed to be doing? What were the learning experiences with the staff, both the professional staff and the other students, your peers? Where did you have an opportunity to give hopefully constructive critique to a peer, and how was it received? And if you had to, how did you clean that up?
Wow.
Yeah. So our educator who does everything else for us remotely is here for that week. And she does individual consultations with each of us, sometimes small group meetings of segments of the class, and then a whole class where we present these evaluations. So it's been kind of a tough time.
Yeah.
And when I saw this scripture, there were two things that crossed my mind. The first was kind of positive, and that was she was going back to Atlanta yesterday, and before she could even leave her hotel, there were 2 flight delays.
Oh, wow.
So she was stressing about, well, should I try to reschedule for another flight? Should I come out of pocket and pay for a flight for a different airline? Because they wouldn't tell her why the flight was delayed.
Wow.
We knew that there was weather in Mississippi with tornadoes there, and that's between here and there, and was the weather moving toward Georgia? And that was the reason why they were delaying these flights. Or was it just another thing where something was going on and they were going to delay the flights until they finally made the cancellation? And by that time, you're stuck.
Yeah.
So while all that's going on, and she's stressing because she wants to go home, and her husband has something planned for them to do today, so she really needed to get home yesterday. And I'm trying to be the good cheerleader and say, okay, well, here are some alternatives. You can go ahead and let the hotel know that this is what's going. Tell them that you may need to extend your visit for an additional night, and make sure they charge it to the VA.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've already reserved Uber to get you to the airport in time for the most recent delay. By the time while we were talking, another one happened. That's how crazy it was.
Oh.
So she went ahead and took her chances, and she went. And there is a friend of mine, you may remember Sheila Sidbury. She was a classmate of mine from the first time around, and she preached at New Covenant a couple of times. And she sends me daily affirmations.
Oh, wow.
Every day of the week.
Wow.
And the one that she sent me on yesterday was, you are an overcomer. You are not going to let all the things that can overwhelm you get in your way, the chatter you hear in your ear about how hard everything is, and what you cannot do, and what you would not do, and what you could not do, and what you should have done, and just, have faith, move forward. True. So
that's powerful.
I forwarded that to her. And we were texting back and forth, if not calling, up until the time she got onto the plane.
Oh, wow.
Up until she got on the plane. And, it's like, you've departed in a good way, because I saw that the flight had backed away from the gate before she could let me know that she'd actually taken off, because she had to wait until they were in the air.
Wow.
So she would have access to in-flight Wi-Fi. And I'm like, no, I know you're gone. That's good. Dearly departed, but in a good way. That the cynical side of me was saying, listen, you know, I'm still living around boxes. I can put clean linen on my bed. You can stay here.
Uh-huh.
Don't you dare complain about how things look. I'm talking to my friend Brenda, not my educator boss, Dr. Wallace. So,
Hi.
and you know, it was even when we were having that conversation, she was saying, I can't say anything about the condition of your house because I know your body may be here in Oklahoma
Uh-huh.
City, but your heart is in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, true.
And when she said that, the thought that crossed my mind was, intellectually, I know that's true. I know that's why I haven't unpacked this stuff. I have to leave all the expletives out because I know we're on church. But I'm sitting here looking at boxes, many of them filled with books. I made a conscientious decision that I wanted to get another sofa. So the living room is filled with boxes with yes books and then just other things that you
Uh-huh.
use with. Because the sofa hasn't, well, number one, I haven't really chosen the sofa I want. And secondly, it, you know, I don't spend time in the living room. The classmate that I carpool with, because he knows I'm all into March Madness, and
Ah.
he says, are you sitting in the gray chair? Now, there's a second smaller bedroom that's not really large enough to be a bedroom, and I'm going to I'm gonna reveal.
Are you there? Are you there or are you gone? I think you're gone. Yay. Are you back? Now I can't hear you at all. I can't hear you. No. Uh-uh. Mm-hmm. Huh. Huh. Wow. Those are nice bookshelves. Hmm. Are you there? Uh-huh. What are you saying? I can't hear you.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Okay.
Yay.
So, right. So she's like, so there are every bit of wall space, available wall space at her house are covered with bookcases filled with books.
Uh-huh.
And there's her daughter's stuff and the girl's stuff. And, you know, she goes, I can't talk about nobody else's house. And
That's
that,
me too.
yeah, so the cynicism was about making an excuse, but the cynicism was also about not wanting to admit to somebody else who has now come to know me well enough to know my craziness, just how accommodating I have become of my craziness. So,
That could be a good thing.
well, it can, but then the other side of that is when I was reading this lesson, and I look at that passage, and I'm thinking, why is God all up in my Kool-Aid? It's there's just, there's just something not loving, kind, and gracious. It might be merciful, but there was just there was something about having to take a magnifying glass and hold it up into a mirror and burn myself.
That's an interesting image.
Well, it's burn into my little feeble brain about how burdened I can become with regard to being cynical and sarcastic, as opposed to being grateful and opposed to being gracious. It would have been one thing to say, listen, this is the condition of the apartment, but you're welcome to come because I really don't want you to have to spend money you don't need to spend. And we'll hang out, we'll get another night because we've been to dinner twice with friends. I'll get to unload all my stuff and talk about what I love about this thing and what I hate about it. But here's the story that gets told with this lesson. A man I know, once vibrant and talented, now lives in a family member's spare bedroom, drinking beer and playing video games all day. His story is tragic. A series of misfortunes knocked him off his trajectory to success and turned him bitterly cynical. Everything and everyone was to blame for his misfortune. No one could stand being around him. He had lost job after job, and the woman he'd hoped to marry, his cynicism drove everyone away. Cynicism can be triggered when we are hurt or angered. It's a defensive posture we take to protect ourselves emotionally. Nothing I do will make a difference, so why try? Cynicism can also keep us from dealing with negative emotions in a healthy way, allowing them to fester, grow, and distort our view of ourselves, others, and the world. Now, Paul's letter to the Ephesians reminds us of our call to build each other up, to speak words of grace, compassion, and love. This Lent, let us free ourselves from the threat of cynicism by allowing ourselves the grace to examine our emotions in a healthy, upbuilding manner. Well, I know you to be cheerful, Kathy.
I try.
I mean, seriously, even when you are there was a massive modicum of grace, as opposed to jumping into the meeting when I'm like, I thought there was a way we kept up with those clusters. Instead of jumping and saying, I know, now what have y'all done with this now? I mean, you could have just unloaded both guns and let folks have it.
Well, let me ask you a question here. Am I allowed to do that if I'm not on session?
Yes, you have voice as an attender, as someone attending session. You don't have vote.
Oh, okay. I didn't think I had voice.
Right.
I would just listen.
You do have voice, and you know what? It never hurts to ask.
Yeah.
Because the only thing when you didn't ask, the answer was already no.
Yeah. But now every time I ask, I don't get any response at all usually. You're the
Well,
only
that
one
and that
today
might have been the
responded.
case, but then that would have reminded me to say, "Oh, wait a minute, there's stuff at Parsons' house, and Becca says that Nikki has the key." I would have put Nikki on the
Yeah,
spot. Now, here's something I know that may be hard for Nikki, still in the throes of grief and mourning for
yeah,
Bob. It may just be hard for her to go there
yeah.
because, but I know she knows she has that key.
Do we have access to Parsons' house now? Because during COVID, we
Well,
didn't.
during COVID, things were pretty much shut down. I don't know what's going on in Austin and specifically at Parsons' house, but I suspect that if we ask, we can walk through the door and go to the office where we
Yeah.
have stuff, to that suite where they have our stuff.
And weird
And
question, are we paying, we're not paying anything for Parsons' house, right?
they gave that to us
That was
because
in exchange for Becca doing stuff there.
exactly.
And since
Now
she's not
here's the
there
other
anymore.
thing. Here's the other thing that crossed my mind when I was thinking, I really don't want to be here in Oklahoma City. I've done a lot of geriatric care. It's the VA, for Christ's sake. And one of the things I've wondered is if one of the ways to continue that relationship would be for me to minister to the folks at
Oh,
Parsons.
that'd be so good. That'd be wonderful.
Now, what I don't know, it was just literally this morning, it's a thought that crossed my mind when I was crafting the message back to you, is that yes, I could go back to Austin. There is a really wonderful, life-giving kind of, and it's weird the way it works, but there's this wonderful, life-giving kind of effort that happens, at least for me, when I'm even as people are transitioning. I don't know, I can't explain it. I really cannot explain it.
You're not supposed to
But
explain it.
yeah, I've really found a way, my way to help, having been through caretaking with my parents, to be able to sit with family members.
That
Just to
matters.
be, not so much that I'm saying their grief is the same as mine, but that I can be with them.
Yeah,
And
that
that's something that a lot of people avoid.
yeah, one of the things, my mom, when she was real sick, she was in the hospital for a real long time. And I used to even spend the night sitting in a chair to be there with her. And the nurses at that hospital did that for me more than anybody in my family, more than anybody at all. And I am
Wow.
eternally grateful to those nurses. They were amazing.
Right. And for people that know how to, there's training involved with it, but you also, there's something spiritual and emotional about
Yeah,
just
that's it.
having the ability to
Yeah,
be with folks when they're going through
yeah,
a really challenging
yeah,
time.
exactly.
Or if their family member is struggling
Yeah,
and they have to be there and observe that, they have to
yeah.
be there and watch that. It's not easy.
It's hard. And just your presence there makes a big difference.
Mhm.
I think what you should do is finish what you're doing now, be part of that. Don't give it up. But when you're finished with that, then come back and pursue all of that. I think that'd be wonderful
Right. Well,
for
yeah, I'm
those
not going to
people.
stop, drop, and quit. I'm not going to do that. Um, there's, I'm about to enter the fourth of what will have become 5 units. And by this next unit, I really need to start thinking in terms and preparing for where there is. Am I going to apply for a job with the VA? Am I going to seek to stay an additional year as a fellow and work on a
Yeah,
specialty? And what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And it's decision time. It's decision time. So, but it was just so bizarre that crossed my mind this
yeah,
morning. This morning, that okay, who
yeah.
else would do it from our church if we were to maintain the relationship
I
with
don't think
Parsons House?
anybody.
And secondly, if we were to maintain the relationship with Parsons House, does our church have the resource to be able, because I wouldn't be able to do it for free.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take on past you. I don't know if you missed that meeting, but I made it abundantly clear, please don't expect me to come back and try to pastor New Covenant. It's not what I want to do.
Huh.
Not what I want to do.
Yeah.
I think I'm too close to it.
Uh-huh.
I'm too close to it.
Yeah.
But to be sort of like a liaison between Parsons House and the church and to minister to the people that were living there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to be a church, we have to have office space someplace.
We have to have office space someplace. That's true. And the other part of church, you came in a little later, you might have caught some of this, but trying to manage worship is overwhelming for Lucy.
Yeah.
So one of the one of the suggestions was, and it was voted on, to have Ellis serve one Sunday a month. He'll choose which Sunday that is and be available, so there won't be as much effort doing pulpit supply. And the other thing is, now that I know what the phase I'm about to go into, I'm not going to be preaching after April 16th. I'm scheduled for Sunday, this coming Sunday, and for the Sunday after Easter. But I really need to give what I'm doing here my undivided attention.
That's important. Definitely.
So so that's kind of what's going on with me and my own examination, and having to really check myself about, am I tired? Am I frustrated? Am I angry? And what I really had to check my own motivations for why I was making some of the decisions that I was about, that I was announcing. Was I just being cynical? Was I being cynical?
No, because you got to be honest with yourself and then honest with other people. And you can't give of yourself always. You have to give to yourself also. I keep telling myself that. And I'm not very good at it myself either.
It's like you of all people. But the other thing is, I say this to family members and caregivers all the time. I always applaud them for being there for the veteran. But the other part of it is, you can't give what's not being given to you.
Yeah.
So if you are busy taking care of someone else, encouraging someone else, being there for someone, even being present takes energy. Being there for someone else. There was one woman, she has been at that hospital since the time her husband was admitted.
Wow.
And it's going on 3 months now.
Wow.
She has essentially moved in. And now he's in palliative care and hospice. They're just keeping him comfortable.
Wow.
But she has adult children. And every time I see her and I ask her, Miss So-and-so, when did you go home? Well, my son or my daughter will come. She has a son and daughter that live in the area. And I go home and take a shower and I take a nap and then I come back.
Oh, wow.
And I said, is that enough?
Yeah.
Is that enough?
Yeah.
And if it's not enough, go home, get a really good night's sleep, not just a nap. Because other than when she's at the hospital, she's sleeping on this love seat size kind of, So part of what we're supposed to do is to help people get that refueling, that little boost of energy that, hey, it's, we're grateful for what you do, but we also understand you've got to do some caretaking of yourself when nobody else will do it for you, so that you have something to give for your loved one.
Yeah, because you're ministering to them too.
Yeah, right. I had to get all examined, EXA men. All examined of myself. Nuh-uh, man. And listen to the messages I was telling myself and checking out my feelings about what I thought I needed to say.
Yeah.
New Covenant doesn't need me nearly as much as I want them to need.
You know that, oh boy, I can relate to that big time. I noticed that we have a participant, it says New Covenant, but I don't know who's there.
Oh, that's probably whoever's doing teching. It's either Bonnie or Nikki.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Bonnie, Nikki, or Lucy. So welcome. Yeah, that also means we need to bounce
Oh, they're
off in a minute
muted.
so
Yeah.
they can do it. So here's what it says to imagine.
Okay.
Recall a time when you expected the worst, a situation you were sure wouldn't end well. Sit with the painful emotions of doubt, suspicion, and mistrust as they arise.
Wow.
Picture those emotions moving through and then out of your body like cloud vapors. Imagine the clouds breaking into tiny bits, angry molecules that catch on the wind and float away.
Huh.
Rest in the release of these emotions. Allow yourself to feel this unburdening.
Wow.
You got to let that stuff go.
That's powerful. Can you send that to me?
I can send this to you, but
Yay.
you really have to let it go.
Yeah.
So my prayer and our prayer today is, free me from this burden, oh God, so I can live with your blessing.
Wow.
Amen. Yeah.
Wow.
So it moves on. Monday, there's burdened by addiction, and they make it clear that addictions aren't always about abusing substances. Burdened by despair on Tuesday. Burdened by judgment on Wednesday. Burdened by stuff on Thursday. Stuff. And then Friday, burdened by doubt. This is going to be a good week to work through. So yes, I will definitely send this to you.
Thank you. What was the one last week?
Save it as a file, PDF file, and then I can send it to the good elder, always and forever, Elder Kathy Andrea.
Always and forever.
Yeah, you can. You know it doesn't give. You can't.
I know. But I don't think I have a church
you know
to
the rules.
I don't know. Yay.
Okay. Let's see what this says if I can. What do I do with it? I want to make sure that I can, I know the name of it so I can send it to you. Anyway, yeah, they're getting ready to set up for church. Thank you for stepping in.
Yay.
I hope this was helpful and enriching and enlightening.
What was the topic last week that I wasn't able to be there?
Last week was, okay, I'm getting them confused. Last week was about blessings. Essentially counting your blessings and blessing. No, that was the week before. All the things we have blessings for, and it went through each day. I'm going to send you the whole book.
Okay, that'd be good. Thank you.
Yeah, because it's like a lot of things. If you don't pick it up until 3 months from now, and you decide you want to read them, it's much like the book you bought. I don't care what page you turn to.
It's there, yeah.
Bruce has something rich for you. That word is going to be really, really on time.
That's good. That's real good.
Okay, so let them get
started.
We're going to let them get started for church. Will you say a quick prayer and send us on?
Well, I say a prayer. I'm not real good at composing stuff like that.
That's right.
But I would just say, let's see, what can I say? Say, Lord, please bless all of us. Thank you, Lord, for Danita. Thank you for everything that she does. Thank you for the work that she does at the VA. because I know that that matters. I have a lot of veterans in my classes, including a very seriously wounded warrior who would benefit from working with her, but she's not in Austin. And thank you for New Covenant in spite of everything. Amen.
Everything, including everything, because of
In spite
everything.
of everything.
All
I
right.
know, that's my cynical side coming out.
Yeah, let it go. Clouds, vapor clouds. They're gonna turn into angry little baby clouds, and they're gonna go away.
You think so, huh?
Yeah,
I
you
will
gotta
have to
let it
read
go.
what you send me.
Send them away. Send them
Yeah.
off. Thank
Anyway,
you,
but
Kathy. Love you.
I love you too, and thank you for sending me the message this morning about the cross wall, because yeah. So I know I have
Well,
a quick question about that. Did they tell us we can't put them up on the wall because they don't want holes in the
I
wall?
think there needed to be a meeting, and I don't know what the outcome of that was.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I just wondered. Anyhow,
Mhm.
thank you. And I'll see you
All
later
righty.
because I gotta go and work. I can't stay for the service. I love you.
Oh, love you
Thank you.
too. Bye
Take
bye.
care. Okay,
Bye bye.
bye.